Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Hi guys, welcome back again to the channel. Today we are going to make what I call a dartless corset without dart. The other previous corsets that we've done are gotten from dart, but this particular one has no business with dart because of this bra cup. So today we are going to make a corset with bra cup. It's actually going to be a crop top. I'll be drafting on the material, on this fabric, not on the pattern paper. So these are the materials we need. This is my measurement, and this is the bias I'll be using, and then this is the sewable boning I'll be making use of. So we are going to continue without wasting much time. So guys, I've placed my material on fold. I placed my material on fold using my bust measurement. That is the bust circumference measurement. The measurement I'm using here for the bust is 37. Divide by 4 will give us 9.25. So plus this allowance. Okay, so this is how I place my material on fold. You know, this top is actually a crop top. It will not get to the hip. That's why I'm using only the bust measurement to place it on fold. If your top is going to get to the hip, that means you're going to use your hip measurement, because it will be the biggest measurement you will get. I hope you understand. So before we continue, the first thing we are going to do is to work on the bra cup. The bust size I have here is 37, but the bra cup size I'm using is 38. So you can use the actual 37. You can use the actual 37 bra cup if you want, but it will be okay if you increase your measurement by 1 inch or 2 inches. So what I mean is, if your bust circumference is 37, you can go for bra cup size of 38 or 40, because there is no 39, so that it will have enough room to accommodate your bust. So I'm using 38 instead of 37, but you can still use 37 just like I said before. This is the upper side of the cup, while this is the down part of the cup. So this is how it's going to sit. So what I'll do is to create a kind of small dart here to give me the kind of curvy cup I want, because it's flat. I don't want it flat. It's optional though. If you want, you can just make use of it the way it is. So it's optional. I'll simply fold it into two like this. I'm creating my small dart here, not the upper side. If you still want, you can do it up and down, but if you do it at the down part is enough. So after I fold it into two like this, two equal parts, I'll just measure like 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches is here. So the next thing I'll do is to measure ½ inch here, and I'll just sew like this. I'll just sew like this. So I'll do that on the two cups. So I'm through with the stitching, and this is what I have. The next thing I'm going to do now is to start adding my measurements. So I've marked out my starting point, ½ inch. The next thing I'm going to do is to come here and mark ½ inch as well. This ½ inch is going to be my cup separation. That space in between the two busts. By the time I open this ½ inch, we're going to get 1 inch. I hope you understand. So having done this, I'm going to bring my bra cup now. I'll place it so that these two edges will touch this line, the starting point line, and this place will touch the half, this bust separation, the ½ inch here. So I'm going to place it like this. So having placed it like this place now will automatically be my under bust. So I'm going to mark it as my under bust. And my under bust is 13.5. 13.5. So yeah, this is the under bust. So from there, I'll take the length of the top. The length of the top is 19. I'll be adding 1 inch for allowance, making it 20. So this is what I have. I'm going to cut it out now. So this is what we need for the front part. So I'll remove it and then I'll draw out the line. This is the under bust line. So this is starting point, bust, under bust line, and then the length of the top. If you look closely, you will see that there's no bust point. It's not necessary. Having gotten this line, we are going to draw out the shape of the cup, because that's what we will need for this corset. So I'll place the cup like this, and I'm going to trace out the shape. I'll trace out the shape. So you're going to try and hold it and draw. So this is what I have. The next thing I'm going to do is to mark out my sewing allowance inside. We are not going to cut on the actual line. So what I'll use to sew it will be 0.25. So add your sewing allowance. If you are going to use ½ inch for sewing allowance, you add it. So the next thing we are going to do is to add our measurement. To add the bust circumference, you can place your cup back and then take the measurement. My bust circumference is 37 divided by 4 will give us 9.25, which is here. Then I'm going to add 2 inches for allowance. Then we'll remove it. And here I'm going to measure my under bust. My under bust, the under bust I'm working with is 32 divided by 4 will give us 8. Plus 2 inches sewing allowance, which is here. Then coming here, the waist measurement here is 35. 35 divided by 4 will give us 8.75 plus 2 inches allowance. So this is the shape I have. So at this point, there is no need for adding your dart. Okay, there's no need for that, because this is the reason why we add that in our clothes, to make a space or to create a room for the bust to sit. For instance, if this place is the material and you want to create a dart, I've created a dart already, 1 inch. By the time you catch your dart, like this and sew. So I'm going to assume that I've stitched this dart, and by the time I open it up, this is what will happen to this paper. What I've simply done is to create this space for the bust. So that is the work of that. When you add it at the back, it's also helping the bust side at the front. So the work of that is to create room where your bust will sit. So, but in this case, we don't need it because we already have a space where our bust will sit. So there's no need creating another space or another room for the bust. I hope it's clear. So adding that here does not make any meaning. So we don't need that for this particular corset. That's why I call it a dartless corset. But the other type of corset, you know, we derive the curves from the dart. So it's two different types of corset. So this type of corset is highly beginner friendly because it's very, very simple. I'll cut out this point and then we are going to use it to cut the back side. For the back side, I've placed this material on fold and I'll just place it on top. No zip allowance because we are going to lace the back. I'll just place it like, but if you are going to add zip on this one, just make sure to remove your zip allowance like this and then you cut. So but there's no zip allowance in this one, so I'll just place it like this and cut out what I have for the back side. So after cutting, I'll keep it while we continue working on this one. The next thing I'll do here is to cut from here out. I'll cut on the second line, not the first one. I'll bring the back side and I'm going to remove 1.5 inches so that I can lace this side. I'll create an opening of 1.5 inches. Any measurement you want to remove from here, you are free to do so. If you want to remove, depending on how open you want it to be, if you want to remove 2 inches or 3 inches, anything at all is fine. My opening is going to be straight, not slanted. So by the time I remove it, you know, this is the upper side. This is the upper side and this is the down part. So for us to indicate the upper part, I'll just give a notch here. So this is the upper side. So this notch here is going to guide us. So we are done with the back side. Then I'll set it aside. So this one, I'm going to use this to cut out the modesty panel. So what I have here is 3 inches. I'm going to add it more 2 inches, making it 5 inches. 5 inches will be the wideness of the modesty panel. Is to remove that 1 inch I added for sewing allowance. I'll remove it from here because this will not get to the sewing allowance. So by the time we fix it, it will be shorter. It will be shorter here. So this is for the back side. Then we are going to cut out something to cover the bra cup. Now to cover the bra cup, I'll use this thing to cut out what I'll use to cover the bra cup. So what I'll do is to simply fold this material into 2 like this. Then I'm going to place this like this. I'll place it like this and I'll measure 2 inches. I'll measure 2 inches all round. I'll cut another one. I'll use this to cut another one. Haven't gotten that, we are going to take the center. I'll fold it like this and take the center. This is the center here, so I'll mark it out. So I'll come here and measure 1 inch, and I'll come here and measure 1 inch. So I'm going to draw a dart towards the center like this, and I'll cut. So we are going to use this to cover the cup. And this is what I have. So it's 2 in number for the 2 cups. I'll cut the lining as well. I will go ahead and cut the lining off camera. After cutting the lining, I'll attach my fusible interfacing. I'll be using this paper stay for it, this black paper stay. So I'll attach my fusible interfacing on all of them, both the lining. So I'll do that and I'll be back. So guys, I've cut out all the lining and I'll fix my fusible interfacing on all of them. So I'm going to start by covering the bra cup. So here we have this one to cover this one, and then we are going to use this one here to cover this one. I'm going to place it like this, and I'll go over to the machine and stitch by 1/2 inch. I'll do that on this one. Equally do that on the lining. After sewing it, I'll come back to show you how we'll cover it. So I'm through with the stitching, and I've gone ahead to iron it flat. So we are going to cover the cup now. So guys, you can cover this cup in 2 different ways. If you want, you will place it like this and get a vertical line like this. And if you also want, you place the cup like this and then you will get a horizontal line. So the choice is yours. Either way is okay. But for me, I'm going to place it in a vertical way. I'll place it like this because I want the line standing. I want the line to be in a vertical way. So for us to get the center, the line is supposed to be at the center. So for us to get the center, I'll fold my cup into 2. I'll fold my cup into 2 like this, and I'm going to use this marker to mark the center. So this is the center. I'll do that inside too. So this is the center. I'm going to place this on it, making sure that the stitches is on this line. So the next thing I'll do is to pin. This is what I have. So I'm going to go over to the machine and I'm going to stitch like this all round. I'll do the same thing on the second cup. So guys, I'm through with the stitching all round. So what I'm going to do is to cut. I'm going to trim the excess by 1/2 inch. I'll use this one to cut out the lining. So for the lining, I'll just place this inside and cut. So I'll be making use of this sewable boning. We are going to fix at the center here, fix here, and also fix here. So for us to get the center, I'll fold the material into two like this, and I'll iron it out. So with this line, it will guide us to attach the boning straight. Then here again, I'm going to fold the cup. I'll fold here into two to get the center. I'll fix it on the wrong side like this. I'll leave a space, my sewing allowance space, and coming here, I'll remove my 1 inch allowance, and I'll cut it at that point. So this is how I'll put the boning. So I'll use this one to cut for this side. I'll just measure it and cut. So at this point, I'll leave this space here and equally leave 1 inch. 1 inch, and I'll cut it at this point. So let me bend it. I'll cut it here. So I'll sew it like this. Remember, you are sewing on these two edges. You sew here and here. So after sewing it, I will use my bias. I'll use my bias to cover the stitches here. But if you don't want to use any bias, then it's okay. You just make sure to use the matching color of the fabric, so that it won't show. Once you use the matching color, there's no need fixing bias if you don't want to. So I'll go over to the machine now, fix the boning, cover it with the bias, and I'll be back. So in case you are not using a sewable boning like this one, then it means you sew the bias first. You sew the bias first, and then you insert it. You insert it inside the bias, inside the casing. You insert it inside. Make sure that the boning is not wider than the bias, so that it will enter. We are going to sew the bra cup like this and like this. I'm going to match this line like this. So I'll go over to the machine and fix it, and fix this one as well. So the next thing we are going to do is to use the lining and turn the neckline and the down parts. I'm going to reduce this by 1 inch and cut. So what I'll do now is to go over to the machine. I'll sew like this. I'll drag it to be equal, and I'll sew like this. And then coming to this side, I'll also drag it equal and sew the upper parts. So we are going to sew the back side now. This is the center part. Remember the notch. I'm going to measure half inch. I'm going to sew in my boning like this, removing 1 inch. So this is how I will stitch this boning, so that by the time we add the loop, it will not be squeezing. It will help the back to be firm. From this line, I'll measure 3 inches and put the second boning. This is optional. If you want, don't put bias at the back. If you still want, you can put only 1 boning. Just feel free to do what you want. Okay, so the next thing I'll do is to sew the loop and fix it. I'll be using my fabric for the loop. So I have like 1 inch wideness here. So I'll just go over to the machine and I'll fold like this and fold again like this, and then fold it at the center like this. So I'm going to be stitching while I fold it. So I'll go over to the machine and sew the loop. I'm done sewing the loop. This is what we are going to use for the loop. So for us to fix the loop now, I'll first of all remove my sewing allowance here, half inch. So from that point, I'll measure 1 inch gap. So this is what I have. So altogether we are going to cut 20 loops. 20. So I'll come here. To cut it, I'll measure to 2 inches. 2 inches should be enough. By the time I fold it, this is what I have. So 2 inches is enough for the loop. I'll cut. So we have 20 pieces here after cutting. So if you don't want to use your fabric to do this, what you need to do is to, make use of the bias tape. Just fold it into 2 like this and stitch. You keep folding and stitching until you get to the length you want. So you can use the bias, you can also use your fabric. All of them is okay. I'm going to fold it like this. I hope you can see it. Just like this. I'll fold it like this and fix it at that line. We are going to fix it like this. We're going to fix it like this. Towards this side, not this side. So that by the time you turn it with lining, it will come over to this side. So you can pin it. Just fold like this and place it on that line. Place it on that line and stitch. Okay, so I'll go over to the machine and do that. So guys, I'm through with the fixing of the loop, and this is what it looks like. So the next thing we are going to do now is to sew the modesty panel. So I have 2 of them like this. I'll go over to the machine. I'm going to sew like this, and like this. And then I'll turn to the right side. So we are leaving one side open. So we are going to place the modesty panel like this, and let me pin it down. So the next thing is to use lining to cover it. We'll reduce the lining by 1 inch. So I'm going to place it like this. We'll close up this side, drag it up, close this side, and close this side as well. So guys, I'm through with the back side. So this is the modesty panel. So if you want, you leave it. Even after fixing it, it's not every time that you may want to cover your back. If you don't want to cover your back, you will just fold it in and then lace the back. But if you want to make use of the modesty panel, you can always do that. The next thing is for us to shape the top. So I'm going to shape with the sewing allowance I added here. So guys, I'm through with the shaping, and this is what we have. So for the rope, so the wideness is 1.5. I'll just fold it the same way I folded the loop. I'll fold it like this and fold again, and then fold it again at the center. So I'm through with the rope. What I have here is almost 60 inches. So we are going to lace the back now. So guys, we are through with the top, the crop top, and it's looking so beautiful. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share so that others can see it. All right, and if you have any question, please leave it in the comment section. I will attend to it. Try it out and let me know your result in the comment section. Okay, so guys, thank you so much for watching. Till next time, I'll see you again. For now, it is bye bye.